Let's create some content. We know what it is. 2021, good robots that I got. They don't have to have just come out in 2021. It's my top 10. In no particular order, I'm just going to start off with something that's kind of obvious, really. You know, Studio Series 86 Hot Rod. It's good, isn't it? It's not a controversial talking point. It's very good. It's a 30 quid masterpiece figure. Of course it's on the list. It's on everyone's list. Number 9 is something which isn't on everyone's list. I haven't seen anyone really talk about this. It's Shattered Glass Ratchet from the Selects line. I don't have the Optimus because this lad comes from a set that I went halves on with Umar. He had the Optimus. He put Optimus in his top 10 list. I wanted the Ratchet, and one of the best colour schemes, if not of this year, of all time, I'm going to say. Yeah, I really don't give a monkey's about Shattered Glass. As a concept, I don't really think it's very good. Like, it's very, very thin, isn't it? But Ratchet as, you know, evil doctor doing malpractice, experimenting on patients. It works. It's a stronger sort of, you know, turn the good robot evil character than like Blur. Like, what is evil Blur? What is evil Goldbug? You know, like, they haven't really got anything that strong in terms of like a profession, a function that they perform that you can make some interesting evil stories out of with that in a mirror universe. I don't know. SG Ratchet just, it hits the spot, you know. It's a good mould. I'm never going to get it in normal Ratchet colours, am I? But teal and grey, white, purple, it's very good. It's very nice. Stands out on the shelf just really well. I enjoy looking at it a lot. Something else I enjoy looking at a lot is number 8, Kingdom Road Rage. Everyone seems to have brought up this mould in the top 10 list as either being the worst thing of the year or one of the best. I'm going to say it's one of the best. I really like this. Like, I got Tracks for Christmas. He's really good as well. You're just being mean. I say though, his legs actually work better than my Road Rage. Like the panels clip in on his knees better. I think that's because they're actually painted. It makes them a little bit thicker, so everything actually kind of coalesces a little bit more like it should. Look at this. Isn't she gorgeous? I was just really taken by this figure when I got it. Oh, mode is red hot. There's some little, I don't know, little hint of the original like e-hobby Diaclone prestige coming through on this toy. It feels like something a bit more special for something that is just, you know, a mainline exclusive. I quite like the transformation. It's interesting. It's involved more than a lot of the other like Earthrise cars, you know. It's just got something about it that does make it more interesting and engaging and makes you engage with it. And whether that's just because you've got to sort of take your time a little bit more with all the finicky, fiddly, annoying bits of it, I don't know. But I really like Road Rage. I don't think the structural stuff takes it down at all. Cupid at Kingdom with number 7. It's a very small boy. Core Soundwave is really good. The only other core figure I've got is Rattrap. He's up here somewhere. I didn't really think the size class was very... I'm going to say good. They're not very good. Or at least, like, when I got Rattrap, he just didn't feel very value for money. Like, it isn't a return to, like, the Legends from Prime Wars trilogy or Scouts. They're more like the old Cyberverse commanders. They're just insubstantial, small. There's not a lot of plastic. They're very light. It doesn't engage me. But Soundwave is so good. It's just this good little diddy square boy. I can't stop fiddling about with him, you know. It's the perfect sort of desk toy, really. I'm not fussed about Soundwave being a tape machine. I really like the Siege one and the kind of big Star Wars spaceship alt mode that it has. You can imagine just sort of hovering there. AC engine noise. It's very sci-fi and I really like that, and there's loads of detail on it and it's extremely underappreciated, but at the same time just having a new little Soundwave that looks like Soundwave and does all the things he does, you know, has the little tape in there, and it just works perfectly. but I've really got no interest in any of the others. Well, they've sort of copied the detailing and stuff from like the Earthrise versions of the other ones like Optimus and Starscream and Megatron. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't appeal. But Soundwave feels like the kind of thing that you were having with like World's Smallest Transformers and stuff that was just really faithful to original toys, but that it was just, you know, put out new or smaller or something, you know? Just Soundwave from the Transformers, but he's small enough to put in your pocket and he does all the things you'd expect him to do. So it's good, isn't it? Number 6 is Kingdom Cyclonus. This is another thing that I feel like no one is now, at least, they were like at the beginning of the year, no one's talking about it anymore, are they? It's such a solid thing, like it's so clean and just sturdy and big. He's got the light pipe in, he's got great colours and articulation. The transformation is really fun. That is something that I feel like hasn't really come into a lot of the stuff this year. I really agree with what Brad said in that a lot of the sort of, you know, Kingdom Earthrise stuff is good, but is it interesting? Is there anything to say about it? Because it's just good, and so there's nothing that really particularly stands out. And it's like, you know, Huffer, Warpath, Inferno, Sunstreaker. It's all really good stuff, but have I got anything to say about it? No, I haven't. And I suppose actually with Cyclonus, I haven't really got much to say about him either. It's just like, oh, he's got light piping. That makes him that tiny bit more interesting. Getting into the real top 5 territory now, though. Studio Series Bumblebee Movie Starscream. I didn't really want this thing. Tell you the truth, it's like when it came out, I saw people getting it, and I thought, oh, it's a bit. I don't know. There's something interesting about it, but it's a bit bloody weird, isn't it? And like, do I need another Starscream? No. But then I saw it and saw how much it takes up of the box. It just felt big and interesting, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot to look at, and it's just one of those things that I haven't been able to put down because it just captures something ephemeral and nebulous that is just Transformers to a T. I think it's the fact that more than being like cartoon Starscream made realistic and put in a film, it's toy Starscream. You know, he's got the dark blue bits, he's got the shiny bits up in these vents, it's got the kind of wonky Diaclone proportions. It's just a big helping of the earliest kind of G1 wonk made new and realistic and, you know, covered in rivets and stuff. There's so much detail and so much to look at. The colours are spot on, and it's just this is what I want from this year. All those new ones like Soundwave and Ratchet and Brawn, that Wheeljack, that's what I want this year. That's really what I'm excited for and I'm itching to get hold of. It's more of these Bumblebee movie guys because it's interesting, you know? There's little bits here and there, like I love how like the tops of his thighs are shiny, because they've done the thing where they interpret the toy's legs, the top bit that always nowadays is his kneecaps, as his thighs, which happened a couple of times back in 1984. And it's like, yeah, like the people at ILM that had to put all this together in like, what, 6 weeks they made that opening scene and added it to the film. They actually cared about what they were doing, you know, in terms of representing Transformers on the big screen for once, you know, and isn't that good? Oh, shouldn't be a novelty, should it, to just think, oh look, they've nicely adapted a design that I already know and like for the big screen. But that's exactly what they've done here. The spaceshipy alt mode that feels very kind of Star Warsy. It's great. It is great. I've got Thrust as well, and I can't decide exactly who's better. I think it's probably Starscream. Even though Thrust is an Armada reference, I think Starscream's probably better just because my Thrust has got a gammy leg, and sometimes that's all it takes. What's next then? Number 4 is Studio Series Grimlock. I've never really even been that much of a fan of Grimlock, to tell you the truth. But this is perfect, isn't it? That's it. There we go. I'm done talking about that now. It's perfect. They couldn't have done this any better. I mean, yeah, maybe, you know, it's about personal preference, whether you would prefer him to have red eyes and a sword. You know, yeah, the toy accurate stuff is what I would kind of personally feel a bit better about, but it doesn't really matter. This is so good. He's so big and clicky, and it just, it feels like something that we would have had like 15 years ago is what this feels like. It's not a product of 2021. What are you talking about? It's far too beefy and chunky and substantial and just fun and easy to transform. You know, it's a leader class figure and it doesn't take the piss by being really complicated and taking ages to transform and all that kind of thing. It knows exactly what it should be, and that's just big slabs of robo-reptilian meat that you shift about in about 5 movements, exactly like you see in the film, and then he's a dinosaur. And that's it. That's it. It doesn't need to be anything more. Yes, I would like a nice big red sword for him, just because that's my personal preference, even though he didn't have that in the film. And the gun is just kind of unwieldy. But this is what we should be getting, you know. And I haven't got Slug. I don't know how much I want to, you know, end up spending like 60-ish quid for every Dinobot from here on out, because I've got all the Power of the Primes ones, and honestly I'm happy with them as a set. But for Grimlock, the big one that you know and is the main boy, this couldn't be any better. Number 3 is G1 Clench. This is special purchase through TF Nation that was virtual again, sadly, but I like to think that if it had been on, I would have seen this and I would have gone for it. So it doesn't matter either way, because I would have been having a Clench this year. It's such a nice thing. It's something I've always wanted. It's great colours and just, you know, a slice of that latest possible G1 into G2 stuff that's just kind of legendary, and I'm still absolutely chuffed at the condition that it's in. I don't think I ever thought that I would see one in this kind of nick, let alone own it myself. So yeah, number 2 will represent the Energon purchases that I made this year. We're going to be talking about Bruticus Maximus. What happened this year was that I went from not having all of the aerial bot team since like 2005, to suddenly having like all of the other ones, like just having both of the Decepticon ones virtually complete just in the space of a few months. And it was a bit like, oh whoa, okay, yeah. I've wanted these things for like 15 odd years, and now suddenly I've just got all of them at once. Oh, a bit of a moment picking this one, because I think while the Constructicon team is also very good, it was these lads that I really wanted at the time. I've not even really handled them, you know, in all of that intervening time. So to suddenly just have the whole lot, minus like a hand here, but you can kind of create some fingers out of these bits here. To have them all at once in one box, it was just a bit like, whoa, okay, yeah. Let's forget about the gestalt for a moment. The limbs on all of these Energon combiners are so good. Hello, aren't they? Yes. Like, they're all really poseable, and they've all got light piping, and they all just have really strong designs and cool transformations. They're really distinct and unique, and it's just really good stuff. The kind of good stuff that I've always liked and always will. And so yes, Bruticus Maximus here, he can be in the top 10 of this year, because wow, what a thing. Kind of makes me like the Fall of Cybertron one a bit more, because I can realise that that is basically these colours. You know, if I were to rearrange these limbs in the correct fashion, it's Fall of Cybertron Bruticus's colours. So it's a bit like, oh, I was thinking about getting rid of that horrible thing, but now I'm looking at it like it's an Energon homage, I'm going to have to keep it. Max shout to the Bruty man here. And now as we wind down to the absolute pinnacle, the number one, which I am going to say is the number one thing I got all year. I got this on the 1st of January. It is the best thing I've had all year. It has nary been out of my hands. You know, it's like 335 days of the year. It's been in my mitts, it's been on my desk, it's been on my coffee table, it's been within sight and arm's reach. It is the Netflix version of Earthrise Optimus Prime. What a bloody good thing this is, right? It's him, it's that man. No point me even really saying anything about it, is there? Because everyone knows what's good about this. Everyone's got a version of this. If you've got the one that's a corpse, or if you've got the one that's purple, or if you've got the one that is slightly more red with the blue windows that I didn't quite want, because I'd rather have a toy deco, I'd rather have them look like glass, and you know, this is closer to that. Bit of darker red, face pops a bit more, bit of a darker blue. It's just one of the best toys, isn't it? So that was the cream of the crop for 2021. Have we got any kind of goals for 2022 with the collection? Yeah, I think one of them is Beast Wars, boys and girls up here. I'm very aware that I didn't speak about any of this stuff. You know, 2021 Kingdom, it's the Beast Wars revival. This stuff is the whole bloody reason I'm in all this, you know. 25 years ago, watching these on the telly and all that, and yet now I've got some of these figures. I've never had a Beast Wars Megatron. Just never have. That's the first one I've ever had, and I don't ever really like it that much. It's very good that Beast Wars came back this year, and it's, you know, I'm very happy that it's going to be continuing. You know, Legacy Tarantulas, hurry up, please. But the G1 stuff in Kingdom was better. There's just better toys. There's something kind of boring about all of these. I don't know if it's because they haven't got all the 5mm bits, so you can cover them in guns or whatever, and they don't fit with the play pattern. I don't know what it is, but they're just all a bit, you know, they're all right, aren't they? You know, it's very good to actually have a toy of Dinobot that looks like he does, and etc, etc, but they don't enthuse me. And that is a bit disappointing, because this is the sort of stuff that I would really have liked to have been and should have been massively excited by. And I was sort of about sort of this time last year before I actually got any of them. But they're just, yeah, they're just all right, and that's kind of it. I'm also getting back into the sort of 2007 line. Past couple of months I have once again been feeling like this is just some of the best stuff that we've ever had, and I went and bought some more of it. That'll be the first stuff I have for the new year. And then of course it's all the sort of studio Bumblebee stuff. That's what I'm after. That's the stuff that's getting me a lot more excited than any of this. So, whoo, yeah, 2022. See what we get. Yeah, Legacy Armada Starscream. Let's hope that's good. Let's hope it's big. Let's hope there's a little red race car in that box, or I'm gonna be ever so slightly miffed. And do you ever think about the fact that it will have been 3 years since they revealed that new Armada Optimus prototype? See you later.